All right, today we're going to talk about a really fundamental shift in how the world's most successful companies actually work. You see, we're moving away from the old school model of just making stuff and selling it in a straight line and into something totally new, building platforms that connect people. We're going to break down this hub-centric model using a cool framework called an Estage. Just think of it as the electronic stage where all this magic happens. Let's dive in. So let me start with a pretty challenging question. For decades, right, the rules of business were simple. You create a product, you push it down a supply chain, and you sell it. Easy. But what if that very foundation, the model that so many companies are still built on, is quietly falling apart? The heart of the problem is something we call the pipeline model. Think of a traditional factory or a retailer. They control this really linear process, a pipeline, where value gets created at one end and then pushed out to the customer at the other. But in the world we live in now, that pipeline is starting to spring some serious leaks. It's losing value, it's losing efficiency, and maybe worst of all, it's losing its connection with the customer. And this, right here, is the absolute core of the whole shift. The old pipeline model, that's a one-way street. A company makes something, a customer buys it. End of story. But the hub model is completely different. It's more like a busy town square. The company's job isn't to make everything, it's to connect everyone so that they can create and exchange value with each other. This is exactly what we call the hub-centric shift. It's this massive move away from being the one and only producer and toward becoming the central connector, the person who builds the stage for this vibrant network. So, okay, how does this new way of creating value actually work in practice? To put it really simply, a hub-centric business creates value by connecting different groups on one central platform. I mean, think about it. What does Airbnb do? It connects hosts with guests. What does YouTube do? It connects creators with viewers. The company's main role isn't making a product. It's building and maintaining the stage where everybody else can interact. And the process behind it is just beautifully simple. First, you connect the producers. These are the people who have something to offer, maybe a spare room, a unique skill, or just a great idea. Then you connect the consumers, the people who are looking for that thing. The real value, the genius of it, isn't in some physical object. It's in the interaction you make possible between those two groups. That connection is the magic. Now, to make this a little more real, let's look at the anatomy of what we're calling an S-stage, which is just short for an electronic stage. This is basically the blueprint for how you build one of these powerful modern digital hubs. So, any successful hub really has 5 core moving parts. Of course, you need the platform itself, the participants, your producers and consumers, and the value exchange that happens between them. But the real secret sauce, the thing that makes these businesses just take off, it's in the last 2. First, you've got the network effect, where every single new person that joins makes the service more valuable for everyone else. And then there's the data loop, where every interaction feeds back information that makes the whole system smarter and better. These 2 things create an almost unstoppable momentum. Okay, so we get how it works, but let's talk about why it's so incredibly powerful. Why are these hub-centric businesses just completely dominating the modern economy? Let's break down the advantages. Just take a second and let this number really sink in. 70%. Some recent analyses show that 7 out of every $10 of value created by the world's top tech companies comes from these platform models. It's not about who builds the best widget anymore. It's about who builds the most valuable network. This isn't just some passing trend. It's the new center of economic gravity. And the difference in growth potential is it's staggering. A pipeline business, it grows by addition. If you want to sell more cars, you have to build another factory. It's linear. But a hub grows by multiplication. Every new user adds value to all the other users. And that creates this self-reinforcing cycle that can lead to absolutely explosive, exponential growth. So let's just tie this all together. Hubs can scale like crazy. That incredible growth creates powerful network effects that basically build a moat around the business, locking out competitors. All those interactions are generating this mountain of rich data, which fuels constant innovation. And because you're not physically making and shipping things, the potential profit margins can be just incredible. It's a ridiculously powerful combination. And this all brings us to the most important takeaway of all. The big business challenge of our time isn't how do we build a better pipeline anymore.
It's how do we design a more valuable network? The really critical question for innovators today isn't what will you make, it's what will you connect? There's this quote that just perfectly sums up this whole idea. The focus is shifting away from the simple transaction of a single product and toward the creation of an entire ecosystem. You see, the most valuable companies of tomorrow, they're going to be the ones that build the stages for everyone else to play on. And that really just leaves us with one final thought. Our world is absolutely full of disconnected groups, of underused assets, all just sitting there waiting for a hub to come along and bring them all together. The opportunities are literally everywhere. So the only real question left is, what connection will you build?